This Ward 3 is working. Ward 7 is, it's just blinking red. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Well, now, excuse me. Okay, colleagues, everybody ready? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are calling to order the departmental budget hearing.
It went off. Here, you want to use mine?
This one's working, Mr. Hartley. You know, they're program terms. Okay, I'll start over. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're calling to order departmental budget hearing today on Tuesday, August the 20th at 1 p.m. here at City Hall. Today we will be discussing Human and Cultural Services, the Chief Administrative Office, and Department of Administration budgets for next year, and we will hear presentations from each of them. Before we begin, colleagues, do any of you, first of all, let me say this. We do have a healthy quorum. Mr. Grizel is joining us digitally. Mr. Foote and Mr. Hartley are here on the dais, and Mr. Banks is not going to be able to join us today because really just minutes ago he had a grandbaby, and so he's very, very excited. So, colleagues, do y'all have anything to say before we start? Okay. With that, we will go ahead then and get started with, we'll go in order, Human and Cultural Services. Dr. Scott, Lord. Okay, here I am. Dr. Scott, welcome, and thank you for joining us, and I see you now. Thank you. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, Pamela Scott, Director for Human and Cultural Services. Thank you all for having us today. I first want to say thank you to all the men and women that are part of the staff of the Department of Human and Cultural Services doing great work over this last fiscal year. I'll just follow along with the slides. This is just a brief overview of all of the divisions that fall under the Department of Human and Cultural Services. So just for the record and for those who can't see the slides, there are three major components of Human and Cultural Services. There's the Human Services, the Cultural Services, and just for the sake of mentioning it, and I will add some additional context later, early childhood development. But under Human Services, there's ADA, there is Family and Youth Services, which consists of the programs that you see here, Jobs for Jacksonians, our Senior Services Division, which consists of several grant-funded programs as well. Under Cultural Services, we have the Art Center of Mississippi, the Municipal Art Gallery, the Planetarium, the Smith Robertson Museum and Cultural Center, and Thalia Mara Hall. And under Early Childhood Development, we have Mary C. Jones and the West Side Community Center. So we just decided to go straight to the point. We have gotten together and strongly considered the needs of the department and put together this list, and they're in order of importance or priority. So first we have facility care and maintenance, security, staffing, information and technology, and programming. So that is where we want to focus our spending in this upcoming fiscal year. And we'll give you a little bit insight into why we have chosen to prioritize those things in that order. We have our senior centers. There are 6 senior centers: Champion, Smith Robertson, Sykes, Tougaloo, TL Love, and Westside. And we are limited as far as our programming because of the condition of the facilities. And you'll see on the slide there some of the needs or problems that have been identified by the staff that work there and myself visiting those centers. So let's see. With our senior centers, one in particular, Champion, has a hole in the exterior wall. It's boarded up. There's broken glass and windows and doors at various locations. One center, Sykes, is in need of a total roof replacement. However, one of our staff members has been able to obtain a generous donation to help us to kind of deal with those leaks temporarily. There are light fixtures throughout buildings that need to be replaced, and our senior centers are just in need of beautification, to make it a place where people want to go. And I think it's worth mentioning that a good bit of our population in the city of Jackson is over the age of, or between the ages of 65 and 80. I would say about 20%. And the aging population is constantly growing. And just to backtrack a little bit, the Department of Human and Cultural Services isn't primarily a revenue generating department. It's more so about quality of life. And we look at the work that we do as preventative. And in that sense, it can help generate revenue by saving revenue for generating opportunities for people to enjoy the quality of life and want to live in the city of Jackson, making this a place where people want to be. And a large portion of our programs are dedicated to doing that for our senior citizens population. But with aging facilities that are in need of repair and maintenance, that's not an optimal place for people to want to go. But we do have good participation, and for those who do come, we want them to continue to come, and we want to beautify our facilities so that we can attract more people. And I think it's worth mentioning that we received funding from the Central Mississippi Planning and Development District for our senior division programs, and about $380,000. And so that's a matched grant, but we do receive a good amount of funds to operate and function these facilities, and but it's not enough. We need more to continue to provide the services and in adequate facilities that are safe and attractive. So I'll move on to the Arts Center of Mississippi. So these are some of the needs and requests that are being made for the Arts Center. Again, facility care and maintenance is always a top priority. The center is in need of ADA compliant elevator, passenger elevator repair, HVAC, roof, ceiling tile replacement, and security is our number 2 on our list of priorities. There are safety concerns. Over the last several months, we have had different things to occur around the property that pose safety issues. For one, a member of the unhoused population started a fire. There's debris, there's littering, sometimes loitering, and it poses safety concerns that cause the facility to have to remain locked, which it's a public facility, and people should be able to come and in and out and enjoy the facility and the displays and exhibitions. It shouldn't have to remain locked, all the time. But for safety concerns, it's not just open to the public, and it's not as accessible as we would like for it to be. But however, in spite of those safety concerns, we have noticed an uptick in patronage of the facility. Our Art Center manager, Turner, has been tracking attendance and has noticed a trend in a positive direction. However, has expressed that there is potential for more exhibitions, more revenue to be generated from those exhibitions and rentals if people felt safer coming and utilizing the facility. So security is number 2. Number 3, there's a need for support staff. Right now, for that very large facility, we have 1 employee that manages the entire facility with about 10 to 12 tenants that are occupying spaces there. And so it's just another one of those situations where one person is wearing multiple hats and, can't be as efficient as we would like, but definitely goes above and beyond to do all that he can. But it would be great if we had allotment in our budget for support staff to assist him so that he can function and utilize the facility more optimally. We're always in need. We are in need of more computers, and then our phone and internet service sometimes is not reliable and affects the tenants in the building. So that's also an issue. And when I say programming, bullet number 5 is programming. That is, related to the facility and safety concerns. If we don't take care of the facility and if the citizens don't feel safe utilizing the facility, then that limits programming, ultimately limiting how much revenue can be generated from utilizing this building. And so to the right, you'll see some of the estimated costs for these repairs, which, we would need to figure out how to make those repairs.
Excuse me just a minute. I don't have a copy of this. Do we have a copy of it?
Oh, I don't have any hard copies.
My eyes need to see those numbers closer. You can continue.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Would you like me to read those numbers to you? Okay.
Well, that's okay. You're getting them for everybody. No, I can look at them.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'll move on to our municipal art gallery. This is the one located on State Street. And so some of the needs and requests, again, are related to facility care and maintenance and security. There is a need for the facility to be more ADA compliant, to include a ramp. And then there are lights that are out on light poles. We're in need of attic cleanup. And we recently got HVAC replaced over there or repaired over there, but as a result of different leaks and the disrepair that it was in for a while, there are some ceiling tiles that are in need of replacement. Security, there have been multiple break-ins at that facility, and I would like to say within the last 3 to 4 months, there have been at least 3 break-ins, if not more. So we're working on securing the building a little bit better and have put some things in place already, but there is a need for presence, a physical presence, if not that, at least an alarm system. But there is an issue with the unhoused population, intruding and loitering and doing things around the building, and also animal control. There are stray animals that have set up homes under the building and causes other issues related to pest control that we keep having to deal with. And if we can get rid of the animals, then that probably will eliminate some of the other issues in and around that building. So staffing, there is one person that's dedicated staff for the municipal art gallery. So that would be helpful if we had additional staff to run that facility, again, improving efficiency without the burden being on one person to do everything. And I like to say that our managers for these art facilities are artists. They're not facility maintenance people, but they have graciously taken on these tasks of identifying facility maintenance issues and constantly bringing them to our attention and trying to address them. But when I say staff, I would ideally love to see a person dedicated to being able to walk through these facilities and lay eyes and do routine checks, and people who are skilled in those areas to just keep up on that for us so that our artists can be artists and put on the type of displays and exhibits that our arts community would like to actually see go on in those buildings. So yeah, phones, internet, that's an issue over there. The phones work sometimes they don't. There is no internet there. And again, These facility care and maintenance issues, security, all impact the ability to have programming. Our manager there, Ms. Monica Hill, has cited not being able to have programming for months due to different issues dealing with repair, facility care and maintenance. We've recently rectified some of those, but there was loss of revenue during that time period. So we want to maintain the progress that we've obtained with ongoing care and maintenance, but also with security, because we made these repairs and now we need to secure our buildings. It doesn't make sense for us to keep fixing the buildings if there's no security and people continue to break in, break windows and steal things and things like that. So the facility maintenance and security go hand in hand. You really can't have one without the other, or else it'll be a perpetual cycle of fix it, break it, fix it, break it. So that is that for our municipal art gallery. Next is our planetarium. Let's see. The planetarium is actually in need of an entire operating budget. I will say that our deputy director, Mr. Mike Williams, is an excellent fundraiser and reports having raised more than $7 million this fiscal year alone through government, private donors, and other avenues. However, those funds are generally allotted to the construction. It's anticipated that the planetarium will be open in fall of 2025. Yes, 2025, and we want to start staffing the facility at least with some of the most critical staff, one being an event planner or coordinator, no, education coordinator, prior to, at least 6 months prior to. Some other ones can be onboarded later than that, but again, as you can see with the list here, outside of construction, there's a need to be able to maintain the facility once it's actually ready for use. Security, we talked about security already for the Art Center, but you all know along that whole block there is the Jackson Convention Center, there's the Planetarium, there's the Art Center and Thalia Mara Hall, and that area is in need of security because, you know, that's where a lot of the unhoused population spend time and live and, you know, do things that will probably deter use of the facilities. So security is a need in that area. Again, staff and salaries, utilities, electricity, gas, water, phones, internet, and then additional ongoing programming. And our deputy director is here if you have additional questions. But some of the estimated costs associated with staffing is about $170,000. So staffing alone is estimated that it would take about $170,000 just for the most critical staff that are needed immediately. And we don't have a budget for these operating costs. So that brings us to Smith Robinson Museum and Cultural Center. Again, top priorities are facility care and maintenance, security, information and technology, and all these things impact the ability to have programming, ultimately limiting how much revenue can be generated from rentals and even daily patronage. So as you can see here, some of the issues with the facility: windows, AC unit in need of full replacement, elevator is operational at times not, but it's in need of repair. Security, there are issues with parking and you know, the lighting as well, but the parking is extremely limited. So there are other businesses in the area that allow the patrons of the Smith Robertson Museum to park in those parking lots. However, that's at your own risk. But there are areas nearby. I think one property is for sale that looks like it has the potential to make a great parking lot. And our manager there has done some homework, and, that's on her wish list to secure that property so that we can have safe and proper parking for those who utilize, who like to visit that facility. And these are some of the costs associated with some of those things. When it comes to information and technology, and I apologize, that should be a number 3 bullet. The computers there are needed. The ones they have are very slow, outdated. The phones go out frequently. If it rains, there's no phones, and so that's a major issue. Being able to keep in contact with what's going on over there, people being able to call to schedule things. But the internet itself is really slow. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the estimated cost for fiber installation is about $35,000. There have been some other alternatives explored, but that's the cost for fiber. And without those IT type of issues resolved, it limits how the programming and the exhibits that are on display. And I would say our manager there at Smith Robertson does a great job of educating herself and staying current about competitive type of offerings that are offered in venues similar to this one, and has noted, interactive exhibits and other things that she would love to have there that would attract more people. However, without the internet capability to be able to do some of those things, it limits her ability to do that. So next we'll go to Thalia Hall, and we're almost done. Thalia Hall is having ongoing repairs and maintenance, but some of the issues that are known are with the elevators, orchestra pit, rigging system, sound and lighting, plumbing, the dressing rooms. But all of these things are being addressed with funds that have come from state bond money, and I just really wanted to uplift before council that absent those funds from the state, we would not have a budget to address any of these issues. And so thank God for that money. But even after these repairs are made, we need to be in a position to be able to maintain the progress that is made. But, I just wanted to make sure that point was uplifted. But security, again, is along that block in that arts area. And so the unhoused population camp out around Thalia Hall. There's debris and trash as a result. It's been stated that sometimes, the homeless population uses the fountains for hygienic purposes. And so we need security in the area to kind of deter some of that activity. But property is destroyed, and then environmental hazards are presented as sometimes there's human excrement found on the property as a result of people using it for habitation. And then there are some IT issues over there. We would like to replace the computers. And so that's that for Thalia. And early childhood. So we don't have early childhood development centers anymore, but we do still have the facilities, and we are still responsible for maintaining those facilities. As I stated before, Mary C. Jones and Westside, we continue to incur utility bills for them, electricity, gas, and water, and they are quite large, but we do not have a budget for early childhood. Again, we have these facilities, we are responsible for maintaining them, but we do not have a budget to maintain them. We currently find money from different areas to address needs, but care and maintenance is an issue. With Mary C. Jones, there's a fence down, there's a hole in the wall where a car, ran into The building is boarded up, but it's there, and it's not a permanent solution. The roof is in poor condition. There are leaks throughout the building. Ceiling tiles need replacing, water intrusion in different areas, HVAC and plumbing issues. There's a security issue as there are multiple break-ins, broken glass and windows, doors, vandalism and graffiti. And we get multiple requests from the community to use the facility, but we aren't able to honor those requests because the facility is not in a condition to where it's safe for use or even comfortable for use. So we need additional funds to maintain those buildings, or we have to come up with a solution for how we're going to continue to maintain those buildings without a budget for them. And last, we have the Division of Family and Youth Services, and I'm hopping back over to the Human Services side of the Department of Human and Cultural Services. This is a division where we have funds for staff, but we don't have funds for programming. And so we have our Mayor's Summer Youth Program. There is a budget for that. However, we would love to be able to pay our young people more. I think currently they make $8.25, and salaries for part-time summer work for young people is more competitive at other places. And so we want to give our young people more opportunities to make more money, but that's always an ask, is to be able to pay them a more competitive hourly wage. We have our Mayor's Summer. Oh, and I would like to mention, we had 92 or 98 young people participate in our program this year. They worked throughout the city, but they also worked for private organizations, and we had about 4 young people who were actually offered permanent positions as a result of their experience in the Mayor's Summer Youth Program. So we're very proud of that. Let's see, the summer feeding program, that took place with zero budget from the city. We had our coordinator for that program, Mr. Kwesi Omari, who did a phenomenal job serving over 700 meals to young people throughout the city at 3 different locations throughout the city on 3 days out of the week. So we anticipate even greater participation next year. That was the first time this program had been offered in years, and it was successful. But again, did that in collaboration with other organizations, and no budget outside of what the budget allows for that coordinator's salary. And we have done other community service projects. A lot of times staff go into their own pocket to make these community service projects possible. Try not to do that, but the hearts are so big and they care so much that they want the programs to be successful, so they do that. But we had a blanket drive, we had turkey drive, again, with no budget. And so just thinking about what the name and the weight of what a division of family and youth services should be able to offer, we don't offer as much as we would like to. And so we would like, more of a budget outside of just salaries for programming for the Division of Family and Youth. So some of the needs are for staff, for salary increases. I mentioned earlier, increase in wages for our summer youth employees. Computers for that program and staff in that program are also needed. And programming. We need more money for programming and recreational supplies and other operating supplies. So, in summary, again, our top priorities are facility care and maintenance, particularly our senior centers, the buildings where our early childhood development centers have been housed in the past, our cultural facilities. Number 2, security for all of our facilities so that we can protect the assets and the investment that we have made in maintaining the facilities and improving them. The third ask is for staffing. Or the third priority is for staffing. We want to create more positions so that we can offer more services. And then we also want to offer more competitive salaries, as an incentive for people to stay working with us and to attract quality candidates for positions that we do have vacant that we want to fill. The fourth priority is the information and technology. We want functioning computers, phone and internet. All that is imperative to us being able to operate as efficiently as possible and offer the type of programming that we need to and should be able to offer in our different facilities, both in human services and cultural services. And again, everything goes back to facility care, maintenance, and security when it comes to programming. So those are our top 5 priorities. And for some reason, I put this slide in here. I guess I wanted to reiterate the need for these new positions, specifically for the planetarium. Again, with expectation of it being open in fall of '25, we don't want to wait until fall of '25 to hire people to staff the facility. They need to be hired, onboarded, oriented, and ready to go when it opens. So those are a couple of positions listed there. But then for department-wide, a large portion of our revenue is going to come from our ability to rent our facilities. That's how we can generate revenue. We have senior centers that the community would like to use for private events. That's if they were in condition or better condition, they will be more attractive for people to do that. And an event coordinator would be able to work throughout the department to help coordinate and plan some of those events. Yes, and I mentioned earlier a facility maintenance person. That would be ideal to have a person who has that skill set dedicated to this department and all these facilities that we have throughout the city that could, I would like for them to do regular maintenance, not maintenance, but preventative maintenance, checking things on a regular basis and not waiting to our managers who are artists, not trained maintenance people to identify a need. Because usually by the time we see it, it's something that should have been addressed a long time ago. I would like to reinstate the position of Deputy Director for Human Services. So that's a ask. And then salary increases. We have a lot of our employees in our department that don't make $15 per hour, and then we would like to offer more competitive salaries again. So this is my last slide. This is our plan to address some of the needs that have been identified. We know that this plan will not meet all of the needs, but we have identified money within our budget here, $105,000 that we could utilize, as you see on the screen, for repairs, computers, security, and salaries. We're asking our managers to, also explore other opportunities to secure funds to address some of the needs, and they've been doing that, and some have even reported this week being awarded grant money for different things that they would like to do within their facility. So this is our budget presentation for the Department of Human and Cultural Services.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you, Councilwoman Lindsay, for standing in, and thank my colleagues as well. President Lindsay.
Lindsay. Yes. Yes, thank you. I want to just go ahead and get to the main thing that everybody's been talking about and it's been in the media a lot lately, and that is Thalia Mora Hall. I understand that there may be some hope on the horizon for that facility, and since you offered him up, I would like for Mr. Williams to come brief us on what exactly is going on right now with Thalia Mora. Right here, I'll get you this.
everybody. Mike Williams, Deputy Director, Human and Cultural Services. So Thalia Mara is moving along. We did have a couple of strokes of good luck over the last week, and the remediation procedure is moving a little bit ahead of schedule, which is a good thing to be able to report. We had the hygienist testing done last week. We received the results, passed them up to the remediation team. The remediation team met with us yesterday and did a walkthrough with the facilities manager and with all of the vendors for the like the scaffolding, the electricity, all the stuff that's going to be needed to do the remediation protocol. We're awaiting their report to determine scope, and that will inform timeline. We were able to fast track the procurement of a chiller that's going to mostly fix our HVAC needs there, and that's where we are currently.
Thank you. So talk about this fast track of a chiller and how powerful is this going to be? I mean, tell me about, when you talk about remediation of the facility and what the hygienist recommended, can you just go into a little more detail about what all that entails and whether or not this work is going to be done in time for us to have a reasonable fall season in the art, among the arts programs?
Yes, ma'am. So the remediation protocol is informed by the industrial hygienist report. We got an independent certified industrial hygienist to come in and do the full workup, which they did. They, like I said, they passed their findings along to the remediation team. All of that hopefully will translate into a timeline and scope that we received this week. We're looking forward to receiving that this week. As far as the chiller is concerned.
I'm sorry. What are they recommending we do?
That's all in the scope report. But the long and short of it is whatever remediation protocol is required by state guidelines to restore us to what is equivalently hospital air. So, whatever is in that scope, that's what we do to get a passing grade to reopen. So
you don't know yet just how much this may, and I realize we have state funds, and I'm so grateful for all of that.
Yes, I am too.
So you don't yet know if we're going to have to replace all the fabric in the room or anything like that?
There's nothing in the report that indicates we would have to do
Carpet
that.
and all that?
Yeah, well, we probably will replace some of the carpet, but there's a lot of fabric in that room. And
Seats.
yeah, and even in the carpet, it appears to be just some spots, but also I don't want to, I'm not, the official, and since the findings have not been, the report has not been issued back from the remediation team, it will be dependent upon their, whatever they prescribe.
So the impact the chiller's going to have on all of this, once we get this remediation done, talk to us, please explain to us, the impact of this new chiller.
Okay, so for a little bit of background and context, the chillers at Thalia Mara Hall, there are two chillers that run that HVAC system. They have been running maybe at 25% capacity for probably the better part of the last 10 years. Over the last year, even that capacity has declined, and so we've been working on this, on the plan to do the Phase 2 renovations to Thalia Mara Hall, which include full HVAC replacement, and we just, it failed before we, months before we got to that plan. So in the original plan, the procurement of the 2 replacement chillers was about 6 months, and we were able to find one on the shelf, thanks to our friends at CDFL, able to find one on the shelf that we can install. We're about to order it today, as a matter of fact, and hopefully it will be installed within the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Well,
and that will restore, excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
So that'll restore us to about 75% capacity, which is orders of magnitude better than how it's been running for the past few years.
So we're going to less than 25% to 75% capacity?
Yes, and then when the procurement goes through for the next one, that'll just basically spread the work over the 2 chillers, and we'll have a full system.
So then we'll get to 100% or more? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. What is the time, the big, question is, what's the timeline on this?
We're hoping that we could be finished with all of this by mid-September. But again, I can't confidently speak to that because so much of it is dependent upon what is in the scope report that we received back from the remediation company. And they just did the walkthrough yesterday.
Okay. Will you keep us posted on the timeline?
Absolutely.
And I have a bunch of other questions, Dr. Scott, but I'm going to defer to my colleagues at this point.
Anybody else got any questions for me while I'm up here?
I got some questions.
Yes, Councilman Foote.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. My questions, I've got, some of them apply to Thalia-Mar, but I've got a number of questions on different other items that some of them you may be involved with. But my main question on Thalia-Mar Hall, when you've got a big auditorium like that, it's obviously a complex building with a lot of different things, particularly as it deals with, live theater entertainment, when you have all the intricacies of the stage operations. What do we charge when shows come in, like the Kessler shows used to come in, off-Broadway, theater shows, things like that? What is the revenue to the city? Let's assume everything's functioning fine. And so and they sell tickets and whatever, these promoters and all. What does the city get when you have a successful show that comes through for 2 or 3 days?
Sure. Well, the revenue, of course, varies because there's a lot of variables in how that's determined. So ticket sales is one variable. I would say the main cost is our rental fee, which is $1,500, but that's a little bit misleading because there are a number of additional costs that are associated with that. We have, of course, the percentage that we get from the tickets. We have a construction fund, 3% that's built into those ticket sales. So it's really mostly dependent upon ticket sales, how much we generate from each show.
So, I mean, my concern is that we're not charging enough, or we may not be charging enough. And then that doesn't give us the revenue to maintain the building and keep it in a first-class state. And then we end up with situations where it shuts down for 6 months and we don't get any revenue at all. So if you had a full season, year's worth of programming through Thalia-Mar Hall, what could we expect to get from revenue? I mean, is it $1,500 doesn't sound like very much money for
Well, yeah, again,
beginning
I'm saying it's misleading. We've never made only $1,500
Okay.
off of anything. That's just like the base price. If somebody wants to call and discuss renting the hall,
Yeah.
that's the base price to start the discussion. And the rest of it, again, there are several variables as to what we arrive at by the end of the show.
I mean, so I think we need to review, what I would encourage the department to do is review what other theaters, like auditoriums across the southeast, are charging for their programs, are charging their programs for the use of their facilities,
Yeah,
and make sure we're competitive, and that we're actually getting enough money that, so that, because they don't want half-baked facilities, they want good facilities. And that
Right,
means we need
as-
to charge the correct amount where we can maintain the facility.
I'm 100% aligned with you there. I
Yeah.
agree. We have been conducting that review for probably about the last 6 months, and all of that happened and concurrently with some of the infrastructure failures. In order of priority, we have to make sure we have a good building to offer everybody first, something that's safe, healthy, and attractive. But also, that research is happening, again, concurrently, and I agree with you, and we're looking to make sure that we're setting our rates at market.
Okay. That was a question about the Thalia-Mar Hall. I've also got questions about the Municipal Art Gallery. You may not be the right person to ask, maybe.
Probably. Let's
Okay.
give it a try.
It's really concerning, well, excuse me, I was looking at my notes for, the Art Center. I was also interested on the revenue there, because we've got people who have the symphony and other organizations that have office space or whatever there. Are we charging them the correct amount of revenue?
Well, that's an interesting conversation. We have never charged them for their presence in the Art Center. It's apparently a really old handshake agreement that we've had with these entities, and we've had a very, I would say, healthy reciprocal programming relationship for a long time. But no, we don't charge them, and I'd like to explore that. Matter of fact, I'd love if you could help us do that. But
Sure.
no, we don't currently charge them.
Okay, now, did the restrooms on the ground floor ever get repaired completely? I know that a year ago when we were getting ready for the International Ballet Competition, that was a big issue. Are they been successfully repaired?
The two in question are, we had to go back and re-repair them, and they're still under repair, but the other two have been repaired, yeah.
So two of them have been repaired, but there's others that aren't repaired.
Yeah.
So.
We had to undo
Yeah.
the first repair.
I mean, now, if you can't get your restrooms repaired, then it's hard to charge people rent, okay?
Sure.
In the
Yeah.
21st century. So
I agree.
we got part of the blame there. We've got to act professionally too, and we want them to act professionally by paying us rent. So I think we need to re-look at our relationship with these people and not just say, come on in and you can stay for free, but we've got to, they realize it takes money to keep all the operations operating, but so we've got to, we need a more professional relationship with the folks that are our partners in this. We need them and they need us, and if we get together and both act professionally, we should be successful at it, on that part of the deal.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. We've been working with the CAO's office and legal to remedy the bathroom issue, because there was a little bit more tied up in it than the actual physical repair. There was a bit of a legal issue that needed to be untangled. So that's kind of been part of the delay there too.
Okay, on the municipal art gallery, I mean, I find that really frustrating here. I guess we've only got one staff person to maintain an art gallery. Is there an effort to try to get docents and volunteers that would come down there and work with the collections and all? And
we do have a senior aide actually that helps there, but they're only available for 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so that has helped ease the staffing there a little bit. It has not remotely eased it completely, though. And like Dr. Scott said, we have staffing concerns and needs that are pressing all across the department. And so we search for all kinds of funding, but typically those are not applicable to things like staffing.
Okay, and I was struck by the item that said attic cleanup.
Yeah.
Now, I would hope that the attic could be cleaned up without it having to come to the city council. That's just my thought. I just, if it's old paintings or whatever, I'm not sure what's in the attic, but I'm surprised that would be.
Well, I'm not sure, and I don't want to misspeak. Don't let me misspeak, Dr. Scott. I think that was more just a presentation of the issues that we are facing at present, more than a request for help from the council. But what we have is animal intrusion.
That was another one I've written down here, animal control.
Yeah, and we no longer have an animal control division with the city.
And I would like to add that is the reason why there's a need for attic cleanup. It's not just us going up there and doing spring cleaning. It is hazardous waste from animal intrusion.
Is it possums or raccoons or what?
Raccoons.
I can't look and tell, but possibly both. I would assume raccoons, but I mean, again, I can't tell. Yeah. But they create biological waste up there, which is a very expensive cleanup, which further depletes our already small budgets.
And I guess the thing that, of all the things mentioned there, well, a couple of points I wrote down here, revenue. We need to focus on the revenue we can generate from these different enterprises. Some of them we may have low expectations, but the Alameda Hall, if it's correctly run, should generate a significant amount of revenue that can help us defray these costs. And then the other thing is the unhoused population. We need a partnership with JPD to help us address this. This undermines our ability to attract customers and people to come to these facilities. That's a big deal, and we need to embrace them and have them help us address the unhoused population so that our facilities can be utilized by the citizens who want to utilize them and attract them.
I agree, and like I said, Chief Wade has been really helpful in stepping forward when we've called them with problems, but it's such a constant that I don't know that they have the manpower to give us the kind of security that we would need around there. I think what we need looks more like what they have at the Museum of Art behind us, which is basically a 24-hour patrol.
Right. Okay, lastly, these facilities are in Capitol Police, which jurisdiction? They're in Capitol Police jurisdiction, aren't they?
Yes.
Talk to Chief Lucky, too. Don't just leave it to Chief Wade, get Chief Lucky involved in this as well. And then the last thing is, I'm showing that the budget on page 116, the budget for all of Human and Cultural Services is $5.4 million, is that correct? Okay. But you're only asking for, you say, $105,000? What's that transfer amount? What's that for?
Oh, no, sir, that is the money we have identified that we have, that's readily available for us to use to address some of the issues we've identified, but there's more needed.
Okay, just because the $5.4 million is a lot of money, $105,000 is not that much money. I mean, it's only.
Touche.
Let me say this before we go on.
That was my points, thank you.
Yeah, no, and we've said this, but when departments bring their presentations and they have requests or asks, there's no way for us to begin to consider it if we don't have those, what that number is. You know, like it says, for all these requests, and you have, facility care and maintenance, senior center security staffing, what is the breakdown of what that costs? And the reason why, if we have it, we can begin to look and have a conversation with finance on where, based on what council desires. If not, you don't want to leave it up to us to begin to determine what it is and what is not. So we would need that, and I think it's several other departments, Mr. Wright, that that came up and said, this is what we want, but there's no number attached to what we want. All right.
You're right, Mr. Banks. That's a good, very important point. There's a lot of information here, but the dollar amounts weren't associated with the items.
Sure, and then we have all of that internally. We can get you guys a report that indicates all of that. That's fine.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the director. Director, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. I see security as a big need around some of your facilities. Could that be aided with the implementation of some type of camera systems, or have you asked JPD about what they think about cameras being tied in there?
One of our facilities that often or has experienced the most break-ins over the last fiscal year is Johnny T. Champion Community Center. And Chief Wade and a host of his staff have come through there and walked the property, identified areas where we would need more cameras in conjunction with Parks and Rec. Some things have been upgraded and implemented there, and we would continue to do that in other facilities as well.
I guess what I'm asking is, could you use cameras to kind of defer some of the security problems?
We could, and that costs money, and we've identified, this much of our budget that we could put towards security at this time. And when I say security, we're looking at both physical bodies as well as security systems, including camera and monitoring. But this amount of money is not going to address the entire need.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Lindsay.
Thank you, Mr. Banks. So one thing we also, I think, need to hear is what is the anticipated revenue of the planetarium next year?
We anticipate to exceed $1 million for next fiscal year.
And you plan to open when?
Construction should be complete in probably late August, and we're looking to open early October.
October of 25.
Right.
And so from October until the end of that budget year, you believe you will generate $1 million in revenue from the sexy new thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so have you been able to do any kind of projections for what the annual revenue will be for the planetarium?
Yes, ma'am. I don't have them.
I know, just an approximate.
Well, usually, to give an example, I think that the best year we had, that the planetarium's peak was maybe 300,000 or something, maybe a little bit below that.
That's the old planetarium.
Yeah. But like,
so
it's
with this, all
highest
this
revenue.
money, okay, please tell me we're going to get more than 300,000.
Oh, that's the best year that the planetarium ever had in its previous 40.
In its previous form, but with all this amazing stuff we're doing to the planetarium.
We are aiming for a sustained million, give or take,
Okay,
annual revenue.
Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, so, and the annual revenue right now in its current form for Thalliamara is how much? About?
Probably about $250,000 to $280,000. We are coming out from under a bond issue that has significantly taken a chunk out of that. So I don't have the math off the top of my head.
The same will
but
be
that
true
one-
of the planetarium, though, because we'll have to be retiring debt with the planetarium as well, right?
Right.
Okay, so once the debt's paid off, hopefully we'll see even greater revenue,
Yeah.
as long as we keep being.
But we're looking to be revenue positive even with our debt service at the planetarium from day one.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I just think that's going to be great. All right, so we have had complaints about Thalliamara Hall since before it was Thalliamara Hall, so when it was still the city auditorium.
Sure.
I mean, back in the late 90s, when I was a reporter at the Clarion Ledger covering the arts, we were getting a ton of complaints about Thalliamara Hall. And we were, we were hearing a lot of complaints about the backstage stuff, the things that we don't see, that don't affect the theater goer, but certainly impact our ability to woo big-name acts and shows. The dressing rooms are deplorable. And I was back there myself plenty when my daughter danced for 14 years. And it's fine when you've got a little ballerina who's 10, but it's quite another thing when you've got the big acts coming in and they want really dressed up dressing rooms. So do we have any long-range plans for improving everything behind the curtain?
Yes, so there is a cosmetic component to the phase plan. The funds, basically, it goes in order of priority, right? So we're already, I've used this phrase before, taking a $4 million bite out of a $5 million problem. But that said, the state has been generous with their funding, so if that continues, that could help to offset or supplement the cosmetic component of probably the next phase. I don't know if it'll be phase 2 or phase 3, but also we're using every thoughtful and intentional approach we can come up with to minimize infrastructure repair cost and see what we can apply to the cosmetic phase. Yeah, it's a really big deal. We want to make the backstage as attractive as it can be for all of our performers and patrons. So yeah, we're in alignment there too.
Thank you. We'll look forward to hearing more about that. I'm going to go back to Dr. Scott.
Sure.
You might want to stay there because others may have questions of you. But Dr. Scott, one thing that was a recurring theme in your presentation, and what council members have hit on, and Mr. Williams also has, is something that I've become incredibly alarmed about, and that is I visit these centers. I mean, I'm around, and I actually just spent a good bit of time at Smith Robertson, and this is so true in a lot of our facilities. And Mr. Wright, you may want to respond to some of this, but we have a huge animal control problem at these facilities. I mean, Smith Robertson, there were patrons there who were afraid to go in because there were dogs at the front door, and these are dogs that, just bear with me a minute, but let me just paint this picture for you. I have a very tender heart for dogs and cat. I'm a dog lover. So there's this dog near the front door. It's obviously hungry and thirsty. So I carry a supply kit in my car with a water bowl and water and food for animals. And because they're all over South Jackson too. And so I go get my water bowl and start trying to give this dog water. And the dog is so ill, it cannot drink the water. Miss King came out of the museum. She saw me doing all that, and I got a scolding because she said to me, we cannot have these animals, don't encourage it, at our front door. She has called numerous times for help, from there essentially is, best I can tell and best my constituents can tell, there is no functioning animal control in this city. And so that hurts you, and that hurts, and I see them all over the Art Center, I see them all over the Thalia Mar Hall area, I see them at the Municipal Art Gallery. I mean, everywhere I go where we have places that we want people to come for their quality of life. The senior citizens, I don't hang out at them because I don't really, have them, I'm there, but I'm not, you know what I mean? So anyway, but I'm just telling you that I think this is a huge problem around our facilities where we want people to come and feel safe and have a great moment. The other thing that's a recurring theme in all of this is it's the security issue, yes, but the unhoused. I mean, it is such a huge issue. I do have a great deal of compassion for people who are unhoused, but at the same time, it's very discouraging to people who are coming to play things like the IBC or to a performance at Thalia Mar Hall or, soon the planetarium or to the Municipal Art Gallery, our libraries, which in your world, but I get it. But we have to address these two issues in a big way. And I think, Mr. Banks, we really need to look at the budget and how we address helping, with security and animal control this year. I think we're at it's all over the city. Two of my neighbors just had their cats killed because we had a pack of wild dogs on my street. So we've got to address this for your sake and for the sake of our patrons.
All right, go ahead, Councilman Foote.
I've got some questions back to the first thing you mentioned on the senior centers we've got here, 6 of them. My question is that the right number of senior centers for Jackson? Do we need more? And are they in the right location to serve the senior citizens we have across the city? Because Jackson's a pretty spread out city. Do we need more facilities? Are there areas, parts of the city that aren't served by these particular 6 senior centers?
I think that they're pretty evenly distributed. Participation is good at at all of them. One can stand to use a little bit more recruitment, and that's a recent development. But by the standards of the grants that we received and participation in order to continue receiving that funding, we're hitting the mark. The people who come, they do enjoy it. They come regularly. I would say that Sykes is closed, and it has been closed for quite some time, Dr. Taylor, but for repairs. With some of the recent repairs that have taken place and with some that we anticipate, that one we are looking to reopen sooner than later. There used to be more of these senior centers prior to me coming here. There was one in North Jackson, but I believe that there is a need. We'd have to, get some more numbers, some data to support, opening more, but they're utilized well. The ones that we have.
If there's a benefit to expanding the number of senior citizens, senior centers, I just don't really interface with the senior centers at all. So
No. I mean, West Side is one where I don't know if the participation is still the same. I remember there was one off North Side Drive. not long ago, and I think at that time Ms. Lyles was working over there, but, they seem to be effective when advertised right. The question is, will we have so much other needs within the city?
Yeah.
They have to be prioritized. Is this something that we have to look at like we look at our parks? And maybe churches or nonprofits can come in and do MOUs to run, because I think we're at a place when we have to look at it, when we have declining revenue, and things are not where we want them, it's hard for us to say, let's invest this much money for 4 seniors that may sit there throughout the day. But there might be, like in subdivision number 2, there might be appetite for Northside Missionary Baptist Church, Travelers Rest Missionary Baptist Church, McCraven Hill, to partner with West Side, to help make up and do some MOUs. And I think that may be some of the creative, just like we're looking at our parks, that might be some of the creative ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Grizel?
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. First, Dr. Scott, thank you for your presentation today, and thank you for all that you've done to accommodate the Westside City Club. That Westside Center and the Senior Center, those centers are the nucleus of that community. They're well used. Sometimes when the seniors gather, just about every day during the week, you can't even find a seat in there. They're playing games, they're socializing, they're doing puzzles, just doing ordinary things that seniors love to do to keep themselves going. And so with the Civic Club, with the gym and those other areas, they've done a pretty good job, and they try not to bother the city. They try to maintain things on their own, cleaning up, painting, whatever the case may be, and then they reach out to the city if there's just something going on that they just cannot manage themselves. And so, thank you, but I also ask, I'm begging you and my council colleagues, let's do what we can to keep that center going. If that center goes away, that community will face a hardship unlike any other. Sub number 2 is like a county within the city. They do a lot to govern themselves. They take care of a lot of things for us, and they really try not to be a hardship on us. But if we can do anything possible to make sure that we support them, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. And there's nothing in here to defund any of the senior centers, is it?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. But there are some that are offline. Okay, all right.
There's one that's offline.
Okay. When can you get us the numbers on the rest of your requests?
We'll get them by the end of the day. Okay, Demetra?
Okay, all right.
But we have a lot of these numbers already, and so we could pull it together.
Okay, all right. Councilwoman Lindsay?
Yes, I just need to go back to what I've talked about before, and that is, but I'd like to add something to it, Mr. Malenbecker. I've talked consistently for 2 years now or 3 years about the fact that we possibly need to look at seriously doing a bond issue to improve our libraries, Ballymora Hall, our parks, and I would like to add community centers to that. And you have said that we have the capacity this year to look at this, and that we will be getting information from y'all November? Did you say that, or did I make that up? By November. And so I think I agree, the community centers are hugely important and impact quality of life. And so I look forward to seeing what y'all might propose with that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Malenbecker, you had something?
Yes, I did want to provide just some updates to some of the questions that were asked. So Ms. Lindsay, I mentioned to you that JPD was talking to the Animal Rescue League. I got an update this morning. They're still working with the executive director in our legal department. They're trying to bring forth a service agreement. So this will help with animal control.
Thank you, Mr. Malenbecker. Do you have any idea when that could happen?
Yeah, so I checked in this morning, and what I was told was the league sent a document that was not on the actual letterhead. And so Captain Thompson requested that they place it on a letterhead, but also mentioned that legal department was helping look through that material. So that's the update I got as of this morning. Yes.
Well, I would really like to have I'm not fussing at you, Mr. Mellenbecker, because I know you're just the messenger, but I just want to say that I think this should have a sense of urgency about it. It's a serious danger in our city. Thank you.
I agree, yes. So that was one. The second was, and just to provide some correction, I know the numbers for Thalamara in terms of revenue. I think 3 fiscal years ago, I think they hit about 183,000 in revenue. And so far, it looks like they're about 145,000 in revenue. The budget for approximately 156. And we agree that we are leaving money on the table. And so we have to think strategically in how we can increase that revenue. And so part of the research that's been done, just some preliminary numbers we received. There was a theater, I believe, in New Orleans. They charge approximately anywhere from 20 to 40,000, right, a show, and we only charge about what, 1,500 or 1,200?
Base price, yeah.
Right.
I think that's the Sanger Theater. I think you might be
Yes.
talking about. Yeah. Well, there are. Sorry, not to interrupt. There are. Again, some other variables that affect that. I mean, it is New Orleans. It's a much more populous area, a much more well-maintained and well-appointed theater. So to match that might be a little high at target. But again, we are all in agreement that we need to raise our prices more towards market.
Yes, so, and that's true. I think that's just a benchmark. But to provide some context to your question, that's what we are pursuing, right? Yeah. And the third thing I think was on the actual budget that you mentioned. So the general fund budget is $3 million. The other amounts are inclusive of other funds. Correct.
So the total is 5.4, is that include grants?
That includes grants, right? Because I think that one includes the DFA grant. Right, yeah, but if you look at the general fund budget, it's about $3 million. Right. And the other piece was the tenants, right, that use the facilities. So we had started some of this work in reviewing the agreements that are in place with the legal department, and we have to check back to see. I don't know, Mike, if you remember, maybe right before Dr. Scott came, we had started that work.
We've been back and forth with legal
Okay.
trying to work on those agreements for quite some time. Yeah.
Right, sure. Yeah. Okay.
All right, so we're all on the same page. It sounds like we have been for a time. We just haven't had the discussion in here.
Okay. Any other questions or comments for this department? And you get us the information. All right, thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. All right, we'll go to CAO's office. All right.
Thank you.
We have presentation. We have it.
We've got that one.
Mr. Wright? Nothing. Hey, man, see ya. No, you're a good guy. We'll listen. Good. Take your time. We have a copy of it, so, yeah.
All right, well, I'm good. You can proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Louis Wright, Chief Administrative Officer, and want to introduce the staff in the CAO's office. We have Sylvia Peavy and myself, so we're a very lean group. Very lean, but we do a lot of work as a result
Yes, you
of it. We're going to be presenting our budget for year 24-25. And we'll start off with the mission. All of you know what the mission of the CAO's office is. We serve as the advocate for those departments that are under the umbrella of CAO. We help them with their programs, all the issues that they're faced with, and move their programs along so that we can carry out the vision of this city as well as the vision that the mayor has put in place, and to answer concerns and resolve concerns from the citizens of Jackson as a result of it. And that mission and vision includes healthy citizens, safe neighborhood, thriving educational system, jobs with a good tax base to support all the programs that we provide, as well as making quality of life more accessible here within the city. The departments that are under the umbrella of the CAO include the Parks and Recreation, Human and Cultural Services, the Fire Department, Public Works, Planning, and Development. The next slide is just a recap of the accomplishments of each of those departments under the CAO. And I'm not going to go through these. You've heard these from the various departments that have come before you. They presented what their accomplishments have been. And this is just a few of the accomplishments, some of the ones that we wanted to highlight. But I'm not going to go through those. You know what they are, and you have heard them present these during their budget presentations. Also on the next slide is just the department goals, and many of those are the continuation of some of the accomplishments that they've already accomplished, and you can see what those are in this presentation. There are a lot of things that we're proud of that the departments have done, and I won't read those, but I'll let you look at those at your leisure. The nut and bolts of the budget, as you can see on this next slide, is where we are and what we are projecting for the budget of the CAO. As you can see, we're very lean. Personal services, as you can see, is the largest part of our budget. The rest of it just supplies and other services and charges. And in terms of the grants and other contributions, those are some of the grants that have been established, and it's been established within the CAO's office, but they've been managed by maybe other departments like Planning and Development, the Catalog grant, the Robert Woods Johnson, and you've heard many of those doing agenda items when they come before you. And as you can see, our total budget is some $629,487. And this is pretty much a flat budget with just minor increases for inflationary things that we have to have in terms of supplies and other services. So that's where we are in terms of our budget and the CAO's office. And I'll yield for question.
All right.
$629,478. Yeah, that includes probably the mayor's office as well as.
It's in general government.
Yeah, general government.
So
Yeah, it's
199.
it's right there, one page back, I believe. It's like
Oh, I see
the
it.
third page.
These four numbers added up. 442.5.
Okay.
Let me ask a question about your personnel. It's just you and Sylvia, correct? Ms.
Right,
Peavy.
right.
Is there some other people being compensated in other places in the city from that?
There were, but we are reestablishing that position back in the CAO's office. There used to be a deputy CAO,
Okay.
and that position has been placed back in our budget.
Oh, okay. I wonder who was in that position.
No one is in that position at
No, I
this
said I
time.
wonder who was
Oh, okay.
in that position. Last time there was one. But anyway, all right, any other questions?
So, what are the metrics we judge this, the administration or your office by?
The metrics that judge this office,
Keep the rain off all the departments, is that your purpose?
exactly, yeah.
Well, I want you to
We make sure that they're successful.
Mr. Muhammad, the Parks and Rec, was a real rock star last night at the kickoff celebration for the Foreign Bridges Renovation.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he was a big star at the show.
Okay, okay,
He did a big time.
good.
Great job.
You satisfied with him keeping the rain off?
Well, the rain off, that's,
What about the flooding from up under?
well, you may be keeping the rain off, but we gotta keep these animals under control. They're slipping under your umbrella.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you know, the fire department had that problem as well, and they use critter catchers or
Yeah.
some group like that.
Yeah,
And-
our animal control cannot remove
No.
bats, raccoons.
Uh-uh.
I mean, I'm really I'm worried that there are bats have been bats in the attic at Municipal, it sounds like.
We'll get with Dr. Scott to make sure that she's aware of what they use. And they not only will come in and catch them and release them to the wild, but they will seal up any leaks or in places where they're getting into the attic. That's what they did with the fire department.
They're great. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people in Bellhaven have to use them because
Yeah.
we're so close to the river. But,
But in terms of stray dogs,
yes,
we do
that
have
is the
animal
big problem.
control that's operated through our police department. And we just need to let the police department know, and they can send somebody out.
Mr. Wright, I would love to tell you they respond.
We have been in contact and communication with the chief of police about that, and we'll just follow up on it.
The fire department be a better, team to put that, in other words, all these, like Dr. Scott, maybe it might be easier for her to call the fire department or say, chief,
No.
help me with this, and we'll go out.
Well, it's funded through the police department.
It is.
And when these directors of these facilities are calling them, they get zero
Is
response.
that right? Okay. We'll follow up on that.
Yeah, Mr. Fuller, I think firemen getting cats out of trees was, that was in cartoons, Garfield and
But not raccoons out of attic.
Yeah. All
See,
right.
we didn't sign up for this.
I get a lot of complaints about, dogs in neighbors' yards.
Yeah.
About, getting out of their, under the fence or whatever. So, animal control is a big issue for quality of life.
Okay.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Do you need us to come back?
Huh?
You need-
No, we don't need you to come back.
You're good.
Okay, thank you.
Madam President, did we say that the clerk's office was going today? We did not. This is it?
We've got one more, though. Who is it?
Oh, the Department of Administration. All right, come on. I think she's giving it to us now. All right.
Good afternoon. I want to thank you for the opportunity to present our budget for you. I think Mr. Macabella gave you all of the numbers, so we just want to kind of talk about the things that we've accomplished this year and the things that we're going to accomplish in 2025. Next is our mission statement. I won't read that. It's just for you guys to know. Some of the accomplishments that we have had for the FY 2024 season is we did complete the 22 audit. We're bringing that for council for you to accept it. We processed and paid over 26,000 invoices. It's about 1,000 invoices bi-monthly. Mr. Foote, you had asked me about that, so I wanted to make sure that you had that information. We managed payroll for over 1,400 employees per pay period. We successfully issued the $9.5 million bond for the planetarium. We filled some of our critical positions this year, including 2 of our new hires that you gave us those positions, which was our liaison officer and our fiscal operations manager. We've increased the salaries for members of the Finance, Administration, Budget, and Treasury Division. They had not had a raise in a very long time. We process around 2,400 purchase orders were processed in FY24 as of July of 2024. 3,000 purchase orders were processed for FY23. We processed 533 contracts for 23 and 233 contracts as of July of 2024 this year. We got new computers for the municipal court system. If you guys have heard, that was a big thing over there. They kept going down. And so we made sure that all the courtrooms now have new computers in there so that they can get their dockets. And we conducted vendor surveys this year to find out what we do well and what we don't do so well. And that is part of what is driving our restructuring. And we plan to do more of those surveys this coming year. Some of the updates is we have successfully kicked off the restructuring of the departments. Like I said, we've hired the liaison officer and the fiscal operations manager. We've also set up a workstation on the 6th floor to increase accessibility and training opportunities for our employees as well as vendors. We're in the final stages of the VSS. We will soon be having all of our invoices come through there. Vendors will be able to track all their payments through there. They'll know when it's on the docket, and they'll know when they're they were receiving their payment. We are beginning training with our department's fiscal officers so that we can start getting all of our bills paid within a timely manner. Some of the goals for 2025 is we want to make sure that we pay all our vendors within 45 days. That is the state statute. Our goal is really to pay everybody within 30 days, and sooner than that if possible. We want to identify and develop important partnerships with small associations and organizations. We want to increase diversity, equality, and inclusion amongst city vendors. We want to utilize the liaison officer to promote, collaborate between the finance department, planning, and economic development, and other departments throughout the city. We also want to continue our vendors' education and training. And what we talk about there is we want to actually get in the community and teach our vendors in Jackson how to do business with the city of Jackson. We also want to transition all city vendors to ACH. This will make sure that they get their payments in a timely manner. It will also help us to make sure that everybody gets paid within that 30-day window. We want to assist, we're going to assist in training and certifying our staff members. What we hope is we will have at least one person certified as a CPA by this time next year. And we will have one person certified at management accounting. from municipalities.
All right. Thank you so much. Any questions, colleagues? Yes, Councilman Harley.
Yes, I think, following the form of others or format, your ask.
You guys gave us what we asked for this year. Let us make that happen, and then we'll be coming back. But we just want to make sure that we're successful and we have those markers. What I would like to ask for is
I didn't ask, that's okay.
Councilman
you said
Banks, if
already
we
said
could get a
no.
meeting so that we could give in more detail and updates of where we are and where we've came.
I think that would be very helpful, and I'm sorry he can answer that question, but I did have one other one, and it actually pertains to the update. The vendor self-service, what percentage are we now with, you said it would soon be ready for implementation. What percentage are we at right now?
We had one last hurdle. We brought in Mr. Pierre. Now that we have him back, he is looking into that. The one thing we have is with Tyler, there is a workflow with everything but VSS. So we're asking him to find us a workaround, but we're also having a meeting with Tyler to ask them in their next upgrade to include that workflow. So that we can, right now, all the invoices would come to like one person, and we're trying to get it where it'll go out to the departments, but where we can see them and control them.
Right, and another aspect, I think we met, was that part of that same program, or it's something you're looking at putting forth before the council?
Yes, that was the service policy.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, Councilwoman Lindsay.
Yes, I just want to say thank you, and I want to thank you so much for making it a goal to hire an accounting manager and a CPA. I also want to congratulate you on getting the audit finished. I think the clerk of the council has it, is making copies for everybody. And I do think that hiring a CPA and an accounting manager is going to help you so much with your audits and probably in a lot of other ways too. And the main point of all that was just to give you extra help. And so thank you very much for following up on that.
All right, go ahead.
I would like to thank my staff that's here today. They have been working very, very hard. And that is my budget manager, Brendan Jackson, if you'll stand. David Kinsley, who's my assistant manager.
Okay.
Stella is one of our new hires. She is one of our senior budget analysts.
Excellent.
And then we have Miss Erica Blue. She is also a senior analyst.
Great.
They have been very helpful.
And Mr. Bellabeckis, you have a staff member as well.
And everybody knows Miss LaWarda Horton, who is the budget guru. We had to bring her back. And my new liaison officer is Erica Stewart.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mr. Foote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So when do we get to see and have the budget presented to us, the audit presented to us for 2022?
I would like to have it on Tuesday because I need to get it out to all the other agencies. So I need you guys to accept it so that I can get it to all the other agencies. I think we've been working with your staff to get that on for Tuesday.
Let me ask this, because generally before we vote to accept it, there's usually a presentation. Do we
Mr. Banks, I think that's right.
Yeah,
We need to do that.
Yeah, we need to do the presentation before we just vote on it, where Scott comes, I'm sorry, Mr. Hodges come, and then you all are here. Do we need, did we traditionally do that?
Generally do that as a special council meeting and not as a part of the finance. But anyway, Ms. Jordan has had it since late yesterday. She's getting copies for all of us,
Okay.
Ashby. And so we will need to call a special, if we want to do it ahead of the meeting, we need to call a special city council meeting.
And they said they needed it adopted by Tuesday?
As soon as possible. It being so late, a lot of the agencies, we're trying to work with Moody's not to lose our rating, and they've been giving us this extension. So it's real important that we get it to them as soon as possible so they don't pull our rating.
Exactly. What do you think, Mr. Banks?
I mean, if we already got a meeting scheduled, if everybody could be here, if we got to adjourn and call a special council meeting, or just bring it up in the special council meeting to let them present it, it's fine with me.
Yeah, we need, the reason we do that is because the Finance Committee doesn't include all council members.
Yeah.
So, and we have to vote on it, I believe. Don't we have to vote to accept it? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the vote will come up,
Tuesday.
yeah, so we need to do a presentation, then do a vote.
All right. Ms. Jordan, what's the quickest we could do a special city council? And how quickly can you get us these copies? That's the other question, I guess.
So, next Tuesday's a regular meeting.
It is.
Couldn't we do it at a regular meeting?
Not the presentation. It takes too long.
Takes too long, because he goes item by item.
Remember, we go through all those
Yeah.
findings.
Okay.
So Shanikia Jordan, Clerk of Council, Friday at 1 p.m.?
I can't do Friday
We
at
can't do
all.
Friday. We have Monday open.
Let's
Monday.
talk right after this, because let's talk right after this.
Okay. I think Monday sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
talk it.
I had that conversation.
Okay. Can I follow up with some more
Yes,
questions?
go ahead.
So you mentioned conducted vendor surveys. Is that something you can share with the council? Can you share those surveys with the council?
So Councilman Food, I take it you've not had a meeting yet with Brent and Drew? They were trying to set up a meeting.
Oh, really?
Yes. So,
I hadn't met, I don't think I met anyone.
That was the meeting I was talking about with the Finance Committee, if we could have that. We want to do a presentation.
no, it's separate. These are,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, this is to go over the services policy. So we'll circle
Okay.
back. Yeah, there's
Okay.
a whole presentation on that.
Okay,
Right,
good.
yeah.
All right. See, okay, another question here. I'm looking at the budget book on the administration. I think this is the right category. And it's got budget analysis for administration. That's correct, right? And it shows budget for 2025 is $6,153,000 total administration. And it shows that this budget, the revised budget for this year is 5.65, so that's an extra, $500,000. But then it goes to 2023, the actual for 2023 was 3.8 million. So it appears that something must have been added to the administration that wasn't in the administration department or category in 2023, because that's addition of $2.4 million or something. Can you tell me what the change is that the budget for 2023 of 3.8 million is now expected to be 6.153 million?
Sure,
I'm
some
reading
of
that
that is the
correctly.
248,000. Some of that is the 248,000 that you gave me for the new positions
Okay.
and the
okay.
restructuring. And the other part of that is, PERS went up.
Where's the PERS? Okay, show me where the PERS
PERS
line
is
would
going to
show
be
up
in your
there.
is going to be in your salary, under personal service categories.
So is that a line item in here as PERS?
6133 is your employer's
All right,
contribution.
which page would that be on? Oh,
It will be in each division. You will see it under the personal services. Where you see
Personal
salaries, temp, overtime. If you get down to 6133, that's the employees, that's the PERS portion of that.
6133 employers. 74,000 goes to 91,000 goes to 104,000. Well, that's,
And there will be an increase every July for the next 3 years.
okay, I mean, that's still it's a big gap between 3.8 million and 6.15 million.
We
I mean,
also
if you
added-
don't know off the top of your head, if you could look into
I can tell you
that.
most of it. We added a judge, and we gave them an increase. Also, we had a lot of vacancies in '23 that we have now filled.
So mainly in payroll, is
Yes.
that what you're saying? Okay. Anyway, I was thinking maybe some duties were transferred from another department into administration, but that's not the case. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and just for the record, so there won't be any public confusion, the municipal judges are in the Department of Finance and Administration's budget.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. With that being said, anything, well, no, I'm not going to ask you if there's anything you want to add. If that being said, this meeting is adjourned.